You're watching Major League Baseball's virtual network. I'm Nicholas Callis. These are your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Saturday, May 23rd, 2020. The Astros played the Red Sox. Final score of this game was 6-0. The Astros brought the bats out. They had a 4-run first inning and tacked on a couple more runs later. Lance McCullers Jr. got the win. Martin Perez got the loss, his 8th of the season. And Brian Abreu earned his first save of the season. It was also the first save of his career. The Mariners and Yankees played each other. 12-1 was the final score. The Yankees really brought the bats out, even more so than the Astros did with the Red Sox. The Yankees got 4 runs in the first inning, 3 runs in the third inning, 3 runs in the 8th, just some of the bigger numbers they put up on their line score, leading to the 12-1 victory. Masahiro Tanaka now 4-1 on the season, and Justice Sheffield, a former prospect of the Yankees, now 1-6 on the season. The Orioles and Blue Jays played each other in an AL East matchup. Final score of this game, 4-3. The Blue Jays scored first. They got 2 runs in the first inning, but then the Orioles scored 3 in the second. They didn't give up the lead past that point. Michael Rucker got the win, Tanner Roark got the loss, and Michael Givens earned his 18th save of the season. AL Central baseball here. The White Sox played the Twins. The White Sox, the first-place team in the Central. The Twins, the second-place team. But the Twins blanked the White Sox. Final score of this game, 7-0. And that will impact standings. You'll see that later in the standings segment where these two stand, but they are close in the AL Central. Kenta Maeda is still undefeated on the season. He earned his 7th winning decision. And Gio Gonzalez is now 6-3. The Rangers and Royals played each other. 3-1 was the final score of this game. Mike Minor got the win. Keller got the loss. Jose Leclerc earned his 13th save of the season. The Rays and Tigers played each other. Final score of this game, 5-4. The Tigers were losing going into the bottom of the 9th inning, but they put up 3 runs to walk it off. Schreiber got the win, and Anderson blew the save, his first losing decision of the season. The Angels and Athletics played each other. Final score of this game, 12-4. The Athletics are the first-place team in the AL West, but they got beat by a large margin. The Athletics scored 3 runs in the 5th, 1 run in the 7th, but the Angels had several innings where they scored 2 in the 2nd, 3 in the 3rd, 2 in the 4th, 4 in the 9th to really pull away with the victory. Matt Andriese got the win, and Mike Fiers got the loss. NL East baseball here. The Braves really put a shellacking on the Mets. Final score of this game, 12-1. The Braves put up 4 runs in the first inning, and they didn't give up the lead after that point. Mike Fultonavich got the win, and Rick Porcello got the loss. More NL East baseball. The Marlins and Nationals played each other, and the Marlins won by a final score of 8-5, and that'll impact the standings because the Nationals are in first place, and the Marlins aren't in first place, not close to first place, but their games back is shortened. The NL East very competitive this year. Sandy Alcantara got the win, Joe Ross got the loss, and Brandon Kinsler earned his 12th save of the season. And again, in the standings segment, you'll see how this impacts the NL East when we get to that division. The Giants and Pirates played each other. Final score 8-5. The Pirates lost. Johnny Cueto got the win. Chris Archer got his 3rd losing decision of the season. And Tony Watson, a former Pirate, earned his 12th save. The Cubs and Brewers played each other. NL Central baseball here. Final score 5-2. Kyle Hendricks got the win. J.P. Fireeisen got the loss. Craig Kimbrell earned his 16th save of the season. Each team had 10 hits in this game. The Cubs just scored 3 more runs than the Brewers did. The Padres and Reds played each other, and the Padres continuing to stay on a hot streak, and they brought out the offense in this game. Final score 11-8. The Padres got 20 team hits. The Reds also had a successful offensive day, scoring 8 runs on 14 hits, but they lost. Could not score as much as the Padres. Garrett Richards got the win. Taylor Malley got the loss, and Kirby Yates now has 17 saves on the season. The Diamondbacks and the Cardinals played each other. 6-1 is the final score of this game. The Diamondbacks had a lead in the 4th inning. It was just by 1 run. They tacked on 2 more in the 7th, but really carried the game away in the 9th when they scored 3 runs. Robbie Ray got the win, and Carlos Martinez got the loss. The Phillies and Rockies played each other, and this is a game that will have NL East impacts as well. The Phillies beat the Rockies 4-0, scored all 4 of their runs in the 5th inning, but the Phillies and Nationals are close to first place. So with the Nationals loss and the Phillies win, the standings are going to change, and the Phillies are now in first place. You'll see that when we get to the standings segment. Aaron Nola got the win, and Bowden got the loss. The Indians and Dodgers played each other. This is an interleague game, and the Dodgers won by a score of 2-1. Neither team in this game scored more than one run in an inning where they scored. But the Dodgers put up a run in the third and a run in the eighth. The Indians put up a run in the eighth as well, but didn't win the game. Each team had 5 team hits in this one. Blake Trinan got the win, Dominic Leone got the loss, and Kenley Jansen now has 16 saves on the season. We'll look at standings now, starting with the American League East. The New York Yankees are 31-21 after winning today. They're still in first place. The Orioles have won 2 in a row. They're 27-25, 4 games back. The Rays are 27-27 now. They're at a .500 winning percentage. They've lost 3 in a row. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games, and they're 5 games back now. The Blue Jays are 25-28. They're 6.5 games back. They've lost 2 in a row. And the Red Sox lost today to the Astros. They're 24-29, 7.5 games back. In the American League Central, the Minnesota Twins are now the leaders after beating the White Sox in Game 2 of the series they're both in. 36-17 is their record now. They've won 2 in a row. The White Sox are 35-17. They're a half game back now. This is one of the first times this year that the White Sox are not in first place. The Indians are 28-25. They're 8 games back in the division. The Tigers are 19-32, 16 games back. And the Royals are 15-37. They're 20.5 games back. In the American League West, the Oakland Athletics are 33-20. They still lead this division. The Astros, who won today, move up a bit. They're 29-23. They're 3.5 games back. The Angels are 24-27. They're 8 games back. They've won 4 in a row. The Rangers are 22-30. They're 10.5 games back. And the Mariners have lost 2 straight. Now they're 12 games back of the Athletics for first place. In the National League East, the Philadelphia Phillies have capitalized on the Nationals losing today. The Phillies beat the Rockies. They're 29-22 now, and they lead the division. The Nationals are on a 5-game losing streak. They lost to the Marlins today. They're 28-22. They're now a half game back in the division. The Marlins are 27-25. They're 2.5 games back. They've won 3 in a row. The Braves won today. They're 27-26. They're 3 games back. And the Mets, who lost to the Braves today, are now 24-28. The Mets are 5.5 games back of the division lead, and they're still in last place. In the National League Central, the St. Louis Cardinals are 27-26. They still lead this division. The Brewers are 25-28. They're in second place, 2 games back. The Cubs also tied for second place and are also 2 games back. The Reds are 23-28. They're 3 games back. And the Pirates are the outlier in this division. They're 18-33. They're 8 games back. They've also lost 4 in a row and 7 of their last 10. They're still in last place. And in the National League West, the Los Angeles Dodgers continue to lead with a 32-18 record. The Padres are 30-22. They're 3 games back. They've won 2 in a row. The Diamondbacks have also won 2 in a row. They're 27-25. They're 6 games back. The Rockies are 21-29, 11 games back. And the Giants are 21-30, 11.5 games back. And they've won 3 games in a row now. Looking at league leaders now, starting with batting average leaders in the American League. Carlos Santana, 376 average, that leads. Miguel Cabrera, second best with a 371, and Michael Brantley, third best with a 367. In the National League, David Dahl has a 370 average. He's still the league leader, and it's not close. Ronald Acuna Jr. has a 347 average, that's second best, and Dansby Swanson, third best with a 345. Hits leaders in the American League. Jose Abreu leads with 74. Miguel Andujar has 73, and Miguel Cabrera has 72. In the National League, Jonathan Villar's at 73, Ronald Acuna Jr. is at 67, and Paul Goldschmidt rounds out the top 3 with 65. At bat leaders in the American League, Jose Abreu has 216, that's the lead. Jonathan Villar, the National League leader, with 219. Doubles leaders in the American League, Anthony Rendon, the first to 20. Rafael Devers and Miguel Andujar, second best with 19. They're tied. In the National League, Jonathan Villar has 24. Christian Yelich, second best with 20. Ketel Marte, Trey Turner, and Brandon Crawford tied for third best with 18. Triples leaders in the American League, Jose Altuve has 5. And there's a significant list with 3. Nico Goodrum, Oscar Mercado, Whit Merrifield, Adalberto Mondesi, and Miles Straw. They each have 3. In the National League, Jonathan Villar's up to 6 now. He's the league leader. Chris Bryant, second best with 5. Victor Robles, Trey Turner, Andrew McCutchen, and Hunter Pence tied for third best with 4. Home run leaders in the American League, Josh Donaldson has 21. Chris Davis one behind him with 20, and Austin Meadows third best with 18. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr., the first to 20 in the NL. Max Muncy has 15, he's second best, and Paul Goldschmidt 14, third best. RBI leaders in the American League. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. bumped his total up to 55. That's the league best. Austin Meadows and Josh Donaldson tied for second best with 51. In the National League, Paul Goldschmidt has 41. Christian Yelich second best with 39. And Freddie Freeman and Cody Bellinger tied for third best with 38. Runs scored leaders in the American League. Yohan Moncada has 42, and then there's a long list with 40 there. You see J.D. Martinez, Marcus Semien, Matt Olson, Jose Abreu, Jose Altuve, and Rafael Devers each with 40. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. has 46, Trey Turner with 41, and Paul Goldschmidt rounds out the top three with 38. Stolen base leaders in the American League. Adalberto Mondesi has 11, as does D. Gordon and Mike Trout. They all are the league leaders. And then Malik Smith, fourth best with 10. In the National League, Starling Marte still the leader with 21. Trey Turner and Ronald Acuna Jr. tied for second best with 13. Walks leaders in the American League. Alex Bregman has 34. In the National League, Rhys Hoskins leads with 36. On-base percentage leaders in the American League. Miguel Cabrera has a 443. Michael Brantley has a 437. And Carlos Santana 1 point behind Brantley with a 436 on-base percentage. In the National League, Dansby Swanson's at a 447. Ronald Acuna Jr. with a 433. And Paul Goldschmidt rounds out the top three with a 430. Slugging percentage leaders in the American League. Josh Donaldson has a 729. Chris Davis right at 700. And Austin Meadows third best with a 663. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. still the only one in the NL over 700. He's at 756. Christian Yelich second best with a 661. And Paul Goldschmidt third best with a 639. On-base percentage plus slugging percentage leaders in the American League. Josh Donaldson a 1.139. That leads. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr. the leader with a 1.190. Moving on to pitcher statistics. Wins leaders in the American League. There's a pitcher with 7 wins after today, and Kenta Maeda got his win against the White Sox. He's now the sole league leader with 7. And then there's this list of those with 6. Asher Wojciechowski, Dylan Bundy, Gio Gonzalez, Lucas Giolito, Hyunjin Ryu, Jake Odorizzi. They're all tied for second best with 6. In the National League, Walker Buehler's reached 7, and he's the league leader. Madison Bumgarner, Aaron Nola, Garrett Richards, and Robbie Ray tied for second best with 6. Losses leaders in the American League. Those who are still undefeated are Ronaldo Lopez, Kenta Maeda, and Mike Minor. They're all the league leaders. They have yet to lose a game this season. In the National League, there are 5 pitchers tied with 1 loss. Carlos Martinez, Caleb Smith, Kevin Gausman, Sonny Gray, and Walker Buehler. Saves leaders in the American League. Nobody's reached 20 yet, but Liam Hendricks and Brad Hand are tied for the league best with 19 saves. Michael Givens one behind both of them. He's third best with 18. In the National League, Giovanni Gallegos is at 20. He hasn't gotten a save in a couple days, but he's still the league leader. Kirby Yates 3 behind him with 17. And then Kenley Jansen, Sean Doolittle, and Craig Kimbrell tied for third best with 16. Earned run average leaders in the American League. Jordan Zimmerman has an ERA of 2.23. Zach Plesac 2.42. And Kenta Maeda 2.54. In the National League, Walker Buehler has a 1.64 ERA. Mike Soroka, the other pitcher, under an ERA of 2. He's at a 1.93, and Jacob deGrom's right on 2. He's third best. Home runs allowed among American League pitchers. Brad Peacock has allowed 3 home runs. Gio Gonzalez, Mike Minor, John Means, and Brandon Bailey all tied for second best with 4. In the National League, Garrett Richards is the only pitcher who's allowed 2 home runs in this league. Carlos Martinez and Jacob deGrom are second best. They've allowed 3. Shutout leaders in the American League. Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka still the only American League pitchers that have thrown 2 shutouts. In the National League, Jacob deGrom has thrown 3 shutouts. He is the league leader now. Zach Wheeler and Walker Buehler tied for second best with 2 shutouts thrown this season. Strikeout leaders in the American League. Garrett Cole's close to 100. He has 96. Lucas Giolito has 86, 10 behind Cole. And Carlos Carrasco third best with 81. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw close to 90. He's at 89. Robbie Ray right behind him with 87. And Chris Archer third best with 83. Complete games thrown for American League pitchers. Garrett Cole and Masahiro Tanaka still the only American League pitchers who have thrown 2 complete games. In the National League, Zach Wheeler's thrown a complete game, though it wasn't a shutout. Jacob deGrom has 3 complete game shutouts. And then tied for third best is Aaron Nola and Walker Buehler. They each have 2 complete games thrown this year now, and that's third best. Good for third best in the NL. Innings pitched leaders in the American League. Garrett Cole has 75 innings pitched. Hyunjin Ryu has 73 and 2/3 innings pitched, and Shane Bieber's at 72 and 1/3 innings pitched. In the National League, Clayton Kershaw, 77 even. Jacob deGrom, 76 2/3, a third of an inning behind Kershaw. And Aaron Nola at 75 2/3 innings. Walks allowed from American League pitchers. Carlos Carrasco, the leader. He's still in single digits. He's at 8. In the National League, Alex Wood, the leader, with 13 walks allowed. Whip leaders in the American League. Zach Plesac, the only AL pitcher with a whip under 1. He's still at a .99. In the National League, Jacob deGrom also at a .99, and that also is a league-leading number. He leads the National League with that. Pitching WAR from American League pitchers. Garrett Cole, 1.9. Shane Bieber, 1.8. And Carlos Carrasco, 1.7. In the National League, Jacob deGrom's at a 2.5. Robbie Ray's at a 1.9. And Yu Darvish is at 1.8. Batting WAR leaders in the American League. Josh Donaldson has a 3.5, as does Marcus Semien. Mike Trout, 3.4. Alex Bregman, 3.3, and it goes down from there. In the National League, Ronald Acuna Jr., still the only player in baseball with a WAR over 4. He's at 4.4 now. Christian Yelich is at 3.4, and Jonathan Villar's moved down from third best. Nolan Arenado has a 3, just slightly above Villar, who's also at 3, but Arenado takes the third spot, and Villar's moved down to fourth best. These have been your game recaps, standing updates, and league leaders from Saturday, May the 23rd, 2020. I'm Nicholas Callis. You've been watching Major League Baseball's Virtual Network.